All right, hi, good evening. I'm going to start with today's class. And well, we're going to continue working with the Cambridge structure. All right, we were learning about it. We practiced already. We have two recordings, right, related to it. And I think you did a very good job. We have to check the next one, right? When you join the class, I'm going to check the next part, which is going to be after my feedback, right? I'm going to see how you were able to structure in a better way that next recording after my first feedback. All right, so please also give me 1 second. I'm going to plug uh, the switch so that well my battery if not is going to die. All right, just 1 minute and I'm going to be back. Okay, so let's start with a short review. I imagine that you're going to join at 8 o'clock more or less so that we can start the class officially at that time. However, I want you to know, and well, actually you already know, but I want you to remember that this is the last week. Tomorrow is going to be one more listening session, but the last listening session is going to be next week on Tuesday, right? And this Friday is the last class that we have as a group. It means that it's going to be the final oral presentation class. I think one of you is going to ask for permission, already did it, if I'm not wrong. So, Melanie, you're going to have that presentation tomorrow. If the permission was accepted, I imagine that it was. And well, that's it. Remember all the elements for the oral presentation. I'm going to do that, all right, taking advantage of this time, just mentioning the most important elements. First, 15 minutes. It's not 10 minutes as it was before. This one is 15 minutes. You have to, right? You must follow this structure because these steps are obligatory this time. Of course, for the previous oral presentation, it's also something that you needed to do. However, some of those steps were kind of optional. For example, the contrast, right? But here you have to follow all these examples. So first you have to ask yourself, right, one of those two possible questions. First, to choose between two options, like this activity is better or this other one. This subject is better or this other one. Or a different question in which you have to show agreement or disagreement with one statement. And the statement can be something like the following, right? Do you agree or disagree with the following idea? This is the statement. It is better to learn a little about many subjects than to learn a lot about only one subject. Okay, that's the statement. That's an affirmative idea that we have. And over that affirmative idea, you are supposed to tell me if you agree or disagree with this. If you agree, then you have to say, at that moment, you tell me the statement. At that exact moment, you need to tell me the answer. So you say, I agree with this because of this and that, very shortly, all right? And the introduction is very shortly. Then you mention some of the benefits or reasons you're going to develop later on, right? In this presentation, I'm going to talk about this, and that to make you understand why I believe or why I agree or disagree with this. Then the body is going to be to explain those benefits or reasons, right, in detail. And you're going to contrast, right, the two ideas. It means if you agreed, now in the body you have to show me, right, a comparison between what happens when you agree with that idea and what happens when you disagree with that idea, right? It means that you need to show me a comparison. You need to contrast those two different positions, right? Agreement or disagreement, or this activity and this other activity. The thing is that in a chart or the way you want to prepare your presentation, you need to show, right, what happens again when you are on this side or on this other side. That's it. Then you need to show examples and facts. Now, this is very important. Sometimes you only show some examples or concepts, definitions, and that's okay. But now you have to show me examples. All right. If you're talking about something very complex, you have to be careful with that. Now you have to give me some examples. If you're talking about a disease, all right, one kind of disease, you need to give examples to illustrate what you mean or to make us understand the symptoms, for example. If you're talking about the environment and you're saying and showing statistics, it's okay. But then you need to give examples, right? For example, here in my city, I read in the newspaper that this and that. So you're telling your experiences, you're giving examples to show what you're saying. Okay, now this is obligatory, so you have to do it. Sorry, I'm going to go up again. So once again, one question to choose between two options or the idea of agreement and disagreement. Then you need to answer that question and you need to give a short explanation when answering and mention the benefits, not all of them, but some benefits that you're going to talk about later on. You and the body explain those benefits or reasons. You have to this time contrast, right? Those two ideas and show examples about that. And finally, in the conclusion is just a short summary of all that information and mention once again why, right? Would you still believe that your option was the best? So as I told you, it's the same or very similar to the first one. However, the main difference is that you have one more option, agreement or disagreement, and that now you have to follow all the specific steps to have the perfect score related to structure. And finally, very shortly, the changes, the big changes here. Remember pronunciation the same, 20 points. You know how this is evaluated. Here we have the first change, and this is a review. Vocabulary, conjugation, and structures. This is again 20. You can make two mistakes and it's still 20. So it's the same. But the big change is needs to improve. If you have more than 12, which it can be a lot, or if you read, all right, during your presentation, you read and you didn't paraphrase, then you're going to have this score, all right? You cannot read throughout the entire presentation and you cannot read complex or long sentences or ideas. Okay, this is again a reminder. Remember, what you can do this time in your presentation is showing me some words, only words. This is the advantage or this is the benefit, right? You have that word. And then down below, you can have some pictures and you can have some words or phrases, but this time you cannot have entire sentences. And if you have them because it's a definition, it's okay, but don't try or try not to read that one. Try to paraphrase actually that one. Or if you read the definition, and it's important because it's a complex definition, after reading, stop, right, and paraphrase what you read. And you have to interpret that, right? And you may say, what this author means is this and that and that. And I believe that this definition refers to this, and also it's connected to that and that. So you need to show me, all right, that besides reading, you are actually understanding that, and you are capable of using your own words to restate that idea and to show the others, right, that you are like, okay, not just capable, right, to explain that one, but you are aware of what you're saying. Sometimes you read, but you don't remember what you said, all right? So it's very important to do it. Again, we worked on this explanation on Monday, but it's very important um, to remind you this once again because of those elements, mainly reading. And we have one entire criterion related to that, right? Paraphrasing or using one's own words. This means if you follow all those instructions, the instructions are You paraphrase many ideas throughout the whole presentation, not only reading, you paraphrase those ideas, and you don't read more than short phrases or sentences, maximum, to remember specific information, right? So if you read, if you don't paraphrase, if you read long sentences or ideas, as I said before, and only 25% was for paraphrasing, then it's going to be like a 0 over there, right? That's the big change. I wanted to tell you that again, taking advantage of the time, all right, in which most of you are not here. And again, if you have any more questions related to these specific criteria, please let me know so that we can start first listening to some of your recordings, all right, that we were working on Monday. And second, I think only, oh no, it's okay, let me check. Okay, but I was saying, and second, we're going to continue working with this structure, but this time you're going to use specific words and you're going to follow specific time structures as well, right? So now that you're here, Melanie, I'm going to start with you. I think we were able to listen to only one of them, right? Actually, you have the vocabulary, the other one, yes. I'm going to listen to the second activity now, and I'm going to give you my feedback, and we're going to see how we're going to fit the words that we're going to use today and the time structure, again, that we're going to use in today's class, right? And Carolina, now that you're here, remember to watch Monday's class. I imagine I'm not streaming this live because there's like a problem with the channel, all right? I cannot do it live, but management is uploading all the videos, all right? I think they are doing it on time. I think last weekend it was a little bit late, but most of the time I think it's on time. So try to check the video. Carolina, we have 2 activities so far, 2 recordings, which are following the Cambridge structure, all right? And if you have any questions or comments, let me know also, please, Carolina.
Good evening, teacher. It's okay, I'm going to watch. Thank you.
Great, very good, Carolina. There you go, good evening. So, sorry, I opened this one and it started playing this automatically, all right? So I'm going to start once again. Let's listen. This is more or less, you have to pay attention as well here, Carolina, because this is the way we're working, and this is something you're going to record today as well. We only have 2 more activities, but we're going to work in detail with feedback and some other conversations. So let's listen. Okay. Okay, good. So what is happening that have you, or that is getting you, or that makes you feel not only worried, but worried, right? Or that makes you worry?
Luis, sorry, I can't hear the audio.
Okay, sorry. You're right. Let me add also the audio. Give me please 1 second. Thank you very much, Melanie. So I was saying I'm going to play that again. All right, this is yours. Where's it? I forgot. Where is that player? Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going here. Here's that.
What is happening that have you really worried about?
Okay, so what's happening that have you really worried about? So in that way, as I was telling you, that worry, it can be used as verb, but it has to be in a specific structure, right? I worry, but it's not that as common as using it as adjective. And to use it as a emotion, as an emotion, as something that you feel, it should be with the ed form, right? So what's happening that makes you feel worried, right? That is worrying for you, or that is worrisome, you can say, all right? So something worrying or something worrisome, it's something that makes you feel in that way. All right, just that one. That's my first observation.
What do you think to do? What do you believe there is?
Okay, so what do you think to do instead of that one? Because I imagine that what do you think to do could be, but that infinitive over there, it's not going to apply to make us understand right about the options. So what do you think could be? What do you think you could, to talk about possibilities? I suggest that, all right? What do you think you could do? All right, or what do you think you should do? In that way, you're using embedded questions and you're using some elements as should and could that make us think in recommendations or suggestions or possibilities for that specific event.
Is going to be a problem for the option you decide?
Okay, yes, what's going to be a problem? What you think it's going to be a problem for the option that you decide, or you're deciding, or you decided in past, you can also say. Good. So those are the questions. We are 13 seconds over there. I think we're good.
The best option for me is to be honest and say that.
Good, right? We start saying, right, the best option, right, according to me, right, personally, in my opinion, is to be honest.
It looks terrible, the new style. Of course, it's going to take, maybe she's going to be upset or you're going to hurt her feelings. However, if it's your best friend, you need to say always the truth. In the contrast.
Okay, good. Only that little word there, right? You need to say always, right, the truth with that th at the end, right? Or what's true. You have those two options, right? You have to say what's true or the truth. Then,
sorry, and the spelling is different, right?
Yeah, exactly. The one is going to be right with T, R, A, U, and E, true, right? To tell what's true, and the other one is going to be with TH at the end.
I'm sorry,
All right.
what's the difference? How I can distinct when to use which one?
True is like an adjective, all right? So you can say that's true. Okay, that's true. So what you're saying, Melanie, is true. Okay, it's an adjective. Truth is a noun. So you say, please tell me the truth. Okay, tell me the truth. So truth is a noun, and you can use it with the article the to talk about what's really correct. All right, what's the truth? But again, true is only an adjective that describes something, right? What you said is true or is not true. Okay, that's the only difference, Marie. One is an adjective and the other one is a noun. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. There you go. So we're good so far. We're going to see if we have, or if you had time to work with the why not. Of course, you're in a certain way saying, right, I wouldn't do that, but let's keep going.
If you don't tell the truth and you lie about it, it's going to be dishonest. And if she knows for any reason in any time, she's going to be doubt about everything that you some.
Okay, good. So I understand. Let me go back a little bit.
She knows for any reason in any time, she's going to be.
Okay, so instead of knows in the sense of getting an information that was something, right? Well, it was, of course, you didn't tell the truth, right? It was a lie. So instead of know, I would say if she finds out, okay? So the difference between know and find out is that, of course, to know, it's to learn new information, but this is not exactly new, right? This is to realize something that was there, but that you didn't know, right? So it's better, I think, to use instead of know here, if she finds out, right, the truth or what really happened, then you tell me the consequence, which is
doubt about everything that you some.
Okay, you can say she's going to be doubtful, or she's going to doubt, as you were saying, good, about everything that you say to her, perhaps.
Times said to her.
Good. All right, so good. I think you have the main elements there. Again, we're going to try now in this practice, Melanie, because I believe that you did it great. But this time we're going to try to first divide 4 main elements, which are going to be the ones I'm going to show you right in a while, related to the questions, the first part, the second part, and the conclusion, all right? But again, it was good, just those elements to give you as part of my feedback. I don't feel, of course, it wasn't time. I think you had like 5 seconds, but there was missing like a short conclusion. Let me check once again the last part.
Sometimes said to her.
Okay, so you were talking about one of those consequences, but again, it was missing as part of this structure, one short, very short conclusion about it. Just that one. Do you have any questions or comments about this? Melanie, let me know, please.
No, all good.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, well, they are not here, but I'm going to check theirs as well so that we can go to the next part. I want to see how you did it in general. This is Majo, but I think it's not. Okay, Estefania has her. Okay, yes, this is the second one. All right, she has the second exercise. Let's listen to this and again. And with this one, I think we're going to be able to start the next part. First, the structure, and then we practice.
What is happening in your mind now?
Okay, what's happening in your mind? That's one way of asking that. What are you thinking there? Perhaps it's not related entirely to what's the problem. Okay, not entirely, but it can lead us to that matter. All right, so it can be valid, but it's not a straight question.
What can we do to solve your problem?
Okay, yes, what can we do to solve that problem? What can you do?
What are the inconveniences with the options?
Okay, that word no, right? Only one abstract idea. What's the inconvenience with those options, right? That word was incorrect. Only what's the inconvenience with those options?
I believe that the best option is to tell her the truth.
Okay, also there, right? True. And it's like she's saying the adjective, true, but she should say the noun, the truth, right? The truth. So the best option also for Stefania was or is to tell her the truth.
Because in a
Okay, also more recommendation over there. It's not bad, but that aus, it's very, very noticeable. Again, it's not incorrect. It can be related to accent, but it can get better in standard accent, like because, right? Because, only us. Then
a friend relationship,
that one as well, right? Again, this is just to help you improve in those little details. Asianship, right? Relationship, I think.
to be honest with each other is the most important, to have a good relationship. And
Right, again, you notice, right, that a little bit more like a in this case, right? Relationship. And the previous word, I didn't get it very well.
most important, to have a good relationship.
Okay, a good, but again, it's like too open and the other one is too close. I would say a good instead of a good, right? A good, and that G sounds like a little bit like a different consonant, so it's better a good. All right, I'm going to tell Stephanie, of course, to listen to this, but it's important that I can give the feedback now.
Relationship. And also I think the other option is not the best because
good. Here I feel a better division, let's say, all right, between the first part of her idea and the next part. Okay, this is something that you should take into account, girls. I feel that she's making a good transition to make us understand that now she's going to talk about why the other option is not the best. That's very important.
if she realized that,
and I think it's related to what you were doing, right, Melanie? It's just that that short transition is making a big difference, and she's using the idea of realizing, which is also correct. Again, there's a difference between realizing something and finding out something, and it's that realizing something can be more related to perception. Okay, most of the time, not always. For example, I just realized that you're there, all right? So you noticed something. But to find out something is that because of certain elements, right, you got to know not a new element, but something that was going on there.
she is lying.
that she's lying. Okay, that she's lying in an active voice. Okay, I was going to say passive, but I think the idea is correct.
That could be the end of her relationship, friend's relationship.
Okay, again, and if we say that could be the end of that friendship, right? So if she's saying friendship, only that one, then you don't need to say that friend relationship or that friendship, right? Only friendship or that relationship.
So that is why I think to tell the truth is the best option.
Okay, good. So again, I'm going to tell Stefania to listen to this. My observations mainly related to those pronunciation details and those elements, right, related to those words. But besides that, I think she was able to structure this in a very interesting way because I noticed the change between the best option and why not the other option, and a short conclusion, right? Again, so that's very important to take into account, right? And this is yours, Majo. Now that you're here, let's listen to yours as well. And we go up now, as I was saying, to the next activity. All right, so there you go.
What happened with that?
Okay, what happened with that? What happened in general, right? With that, if you're talking about something specific, if something specific was not mentioned before, then it's important to change that to only what happened, right? What's happening or what happened. With that, only if something before was mentioned.
What possibilities you have?
Okay, as this is only one question, this is not an embedded question. If it's an embedded question, it could be like that, right? You can say, for example, could you tell me what possibilities you have? Embedded question, right? But if it's only one question, then you should say, what possibilities do you have? Right? So that's the difference. Only one question or embedded question. The order is going to be different.
And 3, what is the problem with those options?
Okay, I'm very related to that, right? What's the problem with those options? With these options or those options? Okay, and it was 11 seconds. I think it's a good time for asking the questions. As you're going to see in the structure, this is what we expect.
And the problem is that my friend has a horrible new style.
Okay, good. Again, my recommendation, it's not necessary to talk about the problem again, because remember, someone else is having that problem and you are having like a conversation with that person, all right? Imagine that. So she or someone, all right, told me the problem, and then I need to say, you know, I believe that this is the best option because of this and that, all right? So you have to suppose that that person knows that because that person told you that, and directly say what is the best option, all right? Why? Because of time. If not, we're not going to have time to develop everything that we want in a detailed way, all right? Just because of that.
The best option is number 2, is to...
Okay, in that one as well, it's okay, because I get it. But as it's going to be part of the conversation, don't say it in that way, right? It's going to be option 2 and, or 1. Why? I'm going to do it so that you can realize that that's the first option and that's the second. But as part of your answer, don't tell it that way, right? Directly say, I believe that the best option is to tell her the truth, or the best option is lying to her because I don't want to hurt her feelings. Okay, so directly, but you need to mention the option to make it more natural, right? As part of a conversation. Again, you have to imagine that this is part of a conversation, of course, a structured conversation, but to make it more fluid, it's better to do it like that.
Tell her the truth because...
Okay, that word again, all right? So we're going to practice, remember, true is the adjective, but here we need the truth, right? The truth with that th at the end.
That's what true best friends would do.
Good, and there you're using that one correctly. There, it's an adjective. That's what a true right? Friend would do. So tell her the truth, right? Noun, and that's what a true friend would do, adjective.
And be honest with her.
And remember, as you're using be as one activity, right, the activity of being honest, you have to use either the infinitive or the gerund, right? And being honest with her, or and to be honest with her. It depends on the previous structure, right?
And the disadvantage is that she will maybe get sad or bad.
Okay, good. But remember, the disadvantage is something that I read, all right, in a certain way. So you cannot do that. Actually, that's not part of the instruction, right? Remember, in the recording, you don't have to tell me the problem, and you don't have to tell me the disadvantages, because that's something I am telling you, right? I'm telling you, look, this is the problem. These are the options, and these are the disadvantages, right? So that's information that I am telling you. But what you have to do is not telling me that because I know that in a certain way. Of course, you can add information if you want. But the main thing here is to tell me what's the best option, why it's the best option. Give me examples if you can. You can mention something that I said, and then tell me why the other option is not the best, right? That's the main idea here. So you have the disadvantages, all right? But we have to try to focus on this next part on why not the other one. And you have to say it in that way that I understand clearly, that you're telling me, okay, that the other option is not a good option because of this and that. And you can mention the inconveniences, the disadvantages, of course, over there, but it has to be clear that you want me to understand it in that way. All right? Then, okay, let me refresh. But that's more or less the idea, all right? I think you are following me up to that point. We're going to work with two more activities, the same prompts, of course, different prompts, but the same structure for the prompts. And you have to do it in this way this time, all right? Because remember, it's part of the activity, following the instructions. If not, it's going to be considered as they were not followed. So let's go back to that point.
Advantage is that she will maybe get sad or bad, but is the best option to tell she the truth.
To tell her, right? To tell her the truth. The truth.
And what I think about her new style.
Okay, so, and that's it. Okay, so in general, and to finish with you, Majo, I did the same one, right, with Melanie. I also was listening to Estefania's. I gave her my feedback. I imagine that she's going to watch the class. In your case, Majo, again, my recommendation, the biggest one is related to the structure. Remember one more time, don't say the problem. It's not necessary. The problem is something that I told you. You need to tell me only the best option. You need to give me supporting ideas for telling me why it is the best option. You can use information that I told you, and you can use your own experience and your own ideas. Then you have to tell me, and you have to mention the other option and say why it's not the best. I don't believe that lying to her is a good option because, and you can mention the inconveniences that you did, all right? But for the other option, because you need to support your idea, reading or tell me the inconveniences for the other option, and then again, add examples if you want, or some other elements to support that idea, right? And you can say, lying to her is definitely not the best option because of course you don't do that with friends. Even though it seems good at the beginning, of course it's going to have a very bad ending, right? And you can say, for example, that happened to one of my friends, right? She decided to lie to me, right? She decided to lie to me, but at the end I found out the truth, right? And I couldn't, and I wasn't able to trust her anymore. And that's it, okay? And you can say, and remember the conclusion. And that's why, all right, or because of those reasons, I believe that telling her the truth is the best option. All right, just that one. I don't know if you have any questions or observations, Majo. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, anything. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. There you go. So let's go back to work and let's continue with our activities. First, we're going to give a short review for the steps that we need to. All right, and then we're going to focus this time on the tips, because as I'm going to show you here in this document, you're going to follow specific structures in terms of words and in terms of, let's say, time. Something that is missing here, sorry, this one. You can also use this one over here. Okay, I'm going to explain that. First, let's give a review to this document. Please, Carolina, help me out by reading step number 1.
Okay, teacher. Step 1. Ask the 3 questions in different way. First, it is important to show that you can formulate and reformulate the questions. And 2. And second, use complex structures like embedded questions. Would you mind if I ask you about?
Thank you very much, Carolina. So my recommendation for today, remember that you have some problems in general, all right? You have some problems, and everybody, all right, that is learning English has, all right, problems with embedded questions, all right? Everybody has problems related to that. So you need to be sure to practice a little bit more, and you can do it now. So try to reformulate these questions with embedded questions, all right? Try to do it, to test yourselves, to try to remember some expressions for embedded questions. Remember, I don't know if you can tell me what the problem is. Could you tell me what the problem is? Would you mind telling me what the problem is? Or would you mind if I asked you, right? What happened? All right, what happened or what happens? And so on and so forth, all right? So again, try to use embedded questions, at least today, if you want. This is not obligatory, but to practice. And I'm going to make you realize if it's okay, or if you still need to practice a little bit. All right, so that's step 1, reformulated the 3 questions that we have at the beginning. And step 2 is going to be for you, please, Melanie. Let's remember this one.
Step 2. Listen very carefully to the answers for each question. If note-taking is allowed, write important words and adjectives. If not, bear in mind important reasons to use.
Thank you very much. Again, review. No, note-taking is allowed here, so you can take notes. Remember to write important words. I am going to read for you, and you're supposed to get the most important elements from the problem, the options, and the inconveniences or the disadvantages. Sometimes, all right, other prompts mention and describe other elements, but this time, these are the elements that were described. So take notes, important words and adjectives, because in this case, listening is part of this speaking practice. You also have something similar for the TOEFL and other tests, all right? So it's not something new. The next one, please, Majo, let's read step 3 to remember.
Step 3. State your opinion following this order. Give your opinion by mentioning what the best option is. Tell why is the best option. Tell why the other option was not the best.
Thank you very much, Majo. So again, I'm telling you the problem, I'm telling you my options, and I'm telling you the inconveniences or the disadvantages right from those options and from my information. So just tell me what is the best option according to you, right? Why it is the best option with some things that I told you and with extra information that you can give me. You can restate my own words and you can say, right, as you said, right, this is going to be good because of this. And you can use my words or you can use your own experience as supporting ideas. Then you have to tell why the other option was not the best. And there you can focus on the inconveniences and disadvantages for that option, right? For the other option. And also you can add something extra that you believe, all right? So you can mix between what you listened to and what you believe. That's step 3. And step 4, this is something that we didn't do yet. We're going to do today. Let's read this one, please. Carolina, once again.
Okay, teacher. Step 4. Answer to questions that are related to the topic. Be concise. Don't give too much extra information and use some intensifiers and embellish your speech.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Remember, concise, right? To be concise. So when we're going to get to this part, we're going to do it today. I'm going to ask you some questions. And as you're going to do it in the test, in case you take the Cambridge test, or just to practice, right? To be concise, go straight to the points, not a lot of extra information for that answer, and use intensifiers, right? Some emphasizers, and to embellish your speech. It means you can say, I believe that it's really important to use technological devices, right? Because nowadays it's impossible to live without it. So I'm saying impossible, right? It's very. So those are intensifiers, emphasizers, and you're embellishing your speech because you're not saying, yes, it is important. And that's it, okay? No, that's too simple. You have to add something to make it more interesting. And of course, to show that you know how to handle, right? Center a certain type of vocabulary. That's the only reason, all right, for embellishing your speech in the pages. And now this is something we're going to work. And again, we're going to register. Remember, please, Melanie, let's read these first tips. I'm going to tell you until what part. Those 2, please.
Okay. Tips. To show what the best option is, try to use transition words and phrases like, in my opinion, personally, I think, I believe that. To give reasons, use transitions words and phrases like because, for, as, since, to give a reason.
Thank you very much. The next one is for you, please, Majo. Those 2 elements over there.
To support the reason with some examples or facts, use transitions, words, and phrases like for instance, for example, to illustrate, as matter of fact, in fact, to restate some disadvantage that were mentioned. Use transition words and phrases like as you mentioned, as it was mentioned before, according to you.
Thank you very much. So that's very important, all right, because you're going to use, all right, the examiner's words. So you have to say that, all right, as you mentioned, or as you said, related to the inconveniences or disadvantages, this and that, okay, and you have to mention that, of course. And the last one, those 3 actually are going to be for you, Carolina. Let's finish reading everything, please.
Okay, teacher. Sorry, teacher, it was to conclude, right?
No, actually, it's all the information, all the slide, please.
Okay. To show why the other option was not the best, try to use these transition words and phrases. I don't believe that. Contrary to that, the other option, it's hard to imagine that. As for the other option, to conclude your opinion, try to use these transition words and phrases. Because of all those reasons, that's why, therefore, thus, etc. Useful expressions. I agree with, I disagree with, I'm for, I'm against, I never thought, I've always thought.
Thank you very much. Good. So again, of course, you're going to talk about the other reason or the other option and why it was not the best. So you can say, contrary to that, the other option, all right, has a lot of disadvantages. For example, this, and that, okay? In fact, this and that. And that's why I believe that this is the best option, right? When you show the contrast. You can say in the conclusion, right? Because of all those reasons, that's why, therefore, thus. And you can use these expressions in the example that we were listening to at the beginning of the class. You can say, you know, I disagree with the idea of lying to a friend. I don't believe that that's the best thing to do. I've always thought that being honest, right, is always the best option, right? It's always the best option. So again, those are expressions that are over there because you can use them in this type of situations in which you have to choose the best option. And you need to say that you agree with this, you disagree with that, that you're against something, that you're for something, and so on and so forth. All right, so with that said, I'm going to show you now this to start practicing these two activities. And then I'm going to ask you the questions to practice a little bit more, and that's going to be it. All right, first, this one. For the questions, all right, and it's in Word because we're going to use this as we were doing with the TOEFL. All right, this is going to be on the left, I believe, or on the right, and the time is going to be next to it. For the questions, you have 10 seconds, all right? That's more than enough. Try to restate and reformulate the 3 questions in 10 seconds, all right? Could you please tell me what the problem is? And what about the options? Or do you have any choices in mind? And what are the problems related to those options? Right, that's it. 10 seconds could be more than enough. You can use more time, of course. This is just a structure that you may follow, but if you follow this one, you're going to have more time to give the examples that you need, the explanation that you need, and to restate some elements that the examiner mentioned. So 10 seconds for the questions. The first part is to talk about the best option and why it is the best option with supporting ideas. So you're going to use these expressions, please. I'm going to mark the ones. Of course, you can use any of those, but we're going to practice with 2 activities, right? So right now, you're going to work with these ones. All right, in my opinion, this is not here, you don't need that one. Then you're going to use 4, okay, not since, actually. We're going to mix that a little bit. In fact, to give examples, all right, and as you mentioned. So you can do something like this. In my opinion, right, being honest with your friend is the best option since, you know, being a friend implies the idea of always being honest to each other. In fact, I have my friend, I believe that we never lied to each other, and that's why we have a very strong relationship. Okay, and as you mentioned, there are a lot of inconveniences by not being honest, and you may lose, right, her trust. That's it, all right? So I said, in my opinion, since, in fact, as you mentioned, that's what you have to do, all right? You need to give me the idea of what's the best option in your opinion. You have to support that idea with a reason. You have to give me at least one example, and you have to restate or mention again something that I said, all right? Because of course I'm going to read that for you. The second part is the other option, right? Why not? Why not? And you have to support that one as well. And it's going to be like this. Only this one. As for the other option, all right? Here, of course, you're going to use now, we're going to keep using since, okay? In the next one, we're going to use for to see the difference. Also here, only in fact. And finally, as well, as you mentioned, all right? The next one is going to be for the other expression. So as for the other option, I believe that lying to your friend is the worst thing that you could do, right? It's the worst thing that you can do. Since, of course, you're going to lose her trust, and you are not going to be able, perhaps, to look her, right? To look at her or to look to her eyes once again. In fact, and you tell one experience, and as you mentioned, of course, this has a lot of disadvantages. For example, this and that. And that's it, all right? So for those elements, you have first 25 seconds, which is a lot for the first part. If you do this in 10 seconds, then you have 25 for the first option, the best option and why. Then 20 seconds, a little bit less, for the other option and why not. And finally, 5 seconds that could be more than enough, all right? You can have a little bit more if you finish the other elements before, but 5 is more than enough because as we saw in the TOEFL, it's only giving like a short summary saying, and that's why I believe that this is the best option, right? Very similar to the TOEFL. So you say, and that's why I believe that being honest with your friends is always the best option. And period. Okay, do you have any questions about this? Let me know. Again, my recommendation for questions is try to use embedded questions. It's not obligatory here, but it's my advice so that you can understand that in a better way and you can get familiar with the usage. All right, so any questions or comments, let me know, please. Okay, so one thing that you have to do now, please, this is very important, because if not, well, you're going to see my screen, and my screen is going to be only with the structure and time. Remember that you have the prompts that you have to use. Classwork, right? ECC speaking test material. And today we're going to work with these two. All right, ECC 2009. All right, and I'm going to show you the pictures. It's for you, so please go there and open that one. That's the two options that you have over there. That's one. And the other one is ECC sample B, which is this one over here. And those are the pictures. All right, so please go there and have those opened, at least the first one, which is going to be ECC 2009, and this is prompt number 2. All right, because we already worked with the first one. Please open that one actually, and let's read this together. This is a little bit different, not in, all right, in a lot of things, but you're going to see that the questions are different. So you need to think of different words. Carolina, so that you can get used to this, please, you're going to read the entire prompt. I'm going to make this bigger for you. The situation first, then, and finally, please, Carolina.
Okay, teacher. Situation. I'm organizing a training conference for managers of local banks, and I'm trying to find the right place to have the conference. Find out what my options are, and then give my advice on where you think the conference should be held. First, you should look at the pictures below and ask, what are the options? What are the advantages of each option? What are the disadvantages of each option? Then, when you have all the information you need, explain which location you have chosen and why. Be ready to explain why you didn't choose the other location. Remember to use information you learn from asking questions to explain your final choice. Finally, after you have shared your advice, you will be asked more questions about the topic.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Now, as you can see, Majo and Melanie, I'm going to tell you this to you. This is different from the other ones, right? Now, you are not going to ask me about the problem because you already know about the problem. That's the situation. Okay, so please take this into account. That's why you can have it open. Please take this into account. The thing is location. That's the main thing here, location. Organizing a training conference. So where, right? I'm trying to find the right place to have the conference. That's the problem. That's the situation. Now, as that's the situation, and you know that one, these are the 3 questions that you're going to ask at the beginning of the recording. But remember, you don't have to use those questions in a literal way. I mean, you don't have to use those exact words. You have to restate or reformulate those questions with synonyms, as we said, with embedded questions and with different structures, right? That's the first thing. So take a look at that. Start thinking, because this is the prompt we're going to use, and these are the words and the questions that you're going to restate. Then, you know, after that, you need to tell me what's the best option. In this case, what's the best location and why? Why not the other location? Give me reasons, give me examples, all right, or facts, and tell me why the other option is not the best, why, examples, reasons, and conclusion. All right, again, this is it. And to have a better idea, again, have this opened, here you have two pictures that are going to help you remember first the options that I'm going to read for you. And of course, they are going to help you also out in having some ideas of what you can say because of the elements that you can see on those pictures. Okay, so that's it. Let me know, please, if you're ready. So Carolina, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. You have this information. It's important that you have that open with you in your computer, right? I'm going to read directly, okay? I'm going to read the options. I'm going to read the advantages of each option. I'm going to read the disadvantages of each option, all right? That's something I'm going to do. You need to listen carefully to that because I'm only going to read that once. You need to take notes. And as soon as I finish with, all right, telling you all the information, you're going to have only 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes because you may start later on, but you only have 1 minute. The recording has to be 1 minute. All right, for first reformulating the questions and then telling me everything in the structure that we learned. That is this one over here, right? Restating questions, first part, best option and why, second part, the other option and why not, and conclusion. All right, that's what's going to happen. Do you have any questions? And if you're ready, let me know, please. Majo, what do you say? Are you ready? Do you have any questions? Let me know.
I'm ready, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. What about you, Carolina?
I'm ready to, teacher. Thank you.
Oh, okay, great. And Melanie?
Yeah, teacher, one question. It is an option to use the phrases that are in highlight, or we need to use?
No, actually, you have to, all right? Now it's going to be obligatory. You have to use the highlighted expressions or phrases.
Okay.
All right? Okay,
Then
very
I'm
good.
ready.
Thanks for asking that, Melanie. Thank you very much. So please, remember, this is going to be here for you. I'm going to have that one over there. And actually this one over here. And actually the timer as well. But remember that you have that one there. So it's going to be like this. Okay, it's going to be like this. So you have to use these words for this recording. That's part of the instruction. All right. If you don't use the words, again, it's going to be okay. I'm going to give you feedback and everything, but it's going to be as you didn't follow one of the instructions. Okay, you don't have to give examples in every situation. So if you're not going to give examples, don't say in fact, for instance, right? But if we're going to do it, use in fact. Right, that's it. That's my final clarification. So first, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I'm going to read this for you. All right, there you go. So give me 1 second. It's over here. Please take notes. Again, I'm going to read, remember, ECCE 2009 prompt 2. All right, that's what I'm going to read. All right, so I start. What are the options? Option 1, an outdoor resort center. Option 2, a city auditorium. What are the advantages of each option? Of the first option, option 1, the facilities are very good. Nice computer projection systems, nice conference rooms, etc. Also, people like to combine work with leisure. The advantages for the second option, it's nearby, so many more people will be about to attend. And also, it's less expensive. What are the disadvantages of each option? Option 1, we are afraid that people might attend fewer meetings because they may go off to the golf course, tennis courts, etc. Also, it's quite far, so it will be expensive to get there, and then the people attending will have to stay overnight. Option 2, the disadvantages. The rooms and the equipment are getting old and are really not that nice or reliable. And also, it is not as attractive as the previous option. Okay, that's it. I'm going to now share my screen. All right, if I find this one, there you go, and there you go. All right, so that's it. Now, please, with that information that you have, again, I'm going to stop at minute 1, but I'm going to give you 1 more minute because I know that some of you are still recording. So I'm going to be quiet for 2 minutes, but you only have 1 minute for recording this. All right, remember to use the words that are highlighted and to use this structure and to try to follow the time structure as well. Of course, it can be a little bit more or less, but try to follow that one. Okay, one last time. Do you have any questions before starting? Let me know. Okay, let's begin then. Please, you may start recording now. All right, so I think that it should be done. Remember, it's only 1 minute that you have to record, right? Upload it, please, as soon as you have it ready. It's important to upload it now, again, because I can give you my feedback. I think with some of you, I'm not going to be in contact on Friday, so try to do it now so that I give you my feedback now. And well, all right, we finish like working with this structure and with this test. Remember that here I'm giving you like only one kind of strategy that you may use, all right, to approach these tests. But of course, there are many other strategies, all right? I have more experience with Cambridge, all right, Michigan tests than the TOEFL. That's why I can tell you, for example, that this kind of structure for the Cambridge test, all right, is something that it's going to work, all right, in a very good way. The one for the TOEFL as well, but I think the person that is going to be in charge of the preparation course is more related to it and has taken the TOEFL test, all right, very recently. And that's important because you know that tests change, all right? The tests change over time, and it's important to know about those changes and to take that into account. So, saying that, again, please, I'm going to check if you were able to upload that one. If you have any problems, all right, if you're having any problems now, let me know as well. If not, I'm going to start checking some of your work. All right, let's do it. Remember the name, try to set it right with the right name. It's going to be only activity 3. If not, try to do it later on. Okay, it can be exercise 3, activity 3, it's up to you. And if you can write one name related to this specific problem, do it as well. So let's check. Okay, I believe that this is yours, Carolina. I'm going to start with you. All right, week 4. There you go. So let's listen to this, please. And again, I'm going to give you my feedback in terms of some specific details and also related to the structure.
In my opinion, I think the best option is the resort out the door.
Okay, good. So it's good, but the recording is missing the first questions, Carolina. All right, I don't know if they are at the end, but it was a good idea to have them at the beginning. All right, remember at the beginning, the first 10 seconds were supposed to be for restating or reformulating, in this case, the questions that we had for that specific situation, right? For example, I think there were the options, the advantages, and the disadvantages, all right? That's missing, but let's check the structure. I'm going to keep listening.
In my opinion, I think the best option is the resort out the door.
Good, or you can say directly the outdoor resort, right? And use it as an adjective. If it's as an adjective, it's going to be before, and they are together, right? The outdoor resort.
Since it is a conference for managers of local banks, we have to think about the equipment and the computers.
Okay, good. Very good reasons. You're using so far these elements that we have, in my opinion, seems great. Very good.
So, as the resort, it is good equipment. We have.
Okay, great. I know that there, right? You were thinking in one word, but then you changed that one. So this is not a big deal. But remember, you can say the resort is well equipped. That's one option. All right, is well equipped. Or you can say it has a good equipment. All right, good equipment.
Have to notice that is the best option. In fact, I think that we can't go to a place that don't have enough.
Okay, good. So you're using also, in fact, very good. A place that doesn't have, right? We cannot go a place to a place that doesn't have
Enough equipment.
Okay, good equipment, or it's not well equipped.
As you mentioned, the resort outdoor has a lot of leisure, so it will be fine for the people who assist to the conference. As for the other option, we don't have.
Okay, good. I know that this is getting like faster, because yes, you have a lot of elements, but remember, sometimes you can mention some examples. As I told you, if you do, use in fact. If not, don't do it. And in which case you are not going to do it, when you feel that you don't have that much time, all right, and you spend too much time in the explanation or reason, try to omit then the example, and you can only focus on the reason and something that the examiner mentioned. All right, that's my advice over there.
Have enough equipment and it is old and less attractive.
Okay, good. So you are mentioning elements that were mentioned as part of the disadvantages, right? And it's good. It's a way of supporting why not the other one.
In fact, it is not the best option. So, because all of those reasons, I think this is the best option.
Okay, good. Again, I think it's very good. This is the first time we're working with this structure. My big thing, all right. Well, I think she's going to be back, but again, the questions were missing, all right? The restating of the questions and trying to organize the time a little bit better, all right? So I was saying, Carolina, the only big thing that is missing is the questions at the beginning. You need to restate the 3 questions at the beginning in the first 10 seconds. Then I know there were a lot of reasons, and you mentioned very interesting and things that were like very important to mention over there. But because of time, you have to try to select only some short elements over there to, if you want, mention all those aspects, reasons, examples, mentioning, or if not, try to omit one and try to say only fewer things about the previous elements so that you have, remember, 10 seconds for the questions, restating the questions, 25 seconds more or less for the first idea, right? In my opinion, this is the best idea because of this and that, right? In fact, I know that this is a very important element now that a friend told me that. As you mentioned, right, it's like this and that, okay? That's going to be like 25 seconds. Of course, it can be more. Then 10 seconds for the other one, right? So try to see in the timer if you're getting there, as we were doing with the TOEFL, right? If you're getting close to, let me show you this one again, and let me see this, to second 35, so 10 seconds, right? The second 11, you're starting with the best option on Y. You're getting close to 35, so change, all right? Or give like a short final idea related to this one. And go to this one, right? 36, more or less, to, I'm going to show you that one as well. I'm going to do this one actually. Sorry, perhaps you didn't see that one, and it also affected. 36 to 55, so you're getting close to 52, 53. Try to go directly to the conclusion. All right, so just that one. Don't forget about the questions and that balancing between those steps. Do you have any questions about that feedback, Carolina? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's okay. Sorry, I'm going to fix it.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Again, it's we're doing this for the first time and only the questions at the beginning, and time management is always like the hardest thing to work. Okay, so great. Let me see who else was able to upload. Stefania, Majo, you have yours. It's not here yours, Majo. Let me, perhaps, I'm going to refresh. Okay, yes, it's over here. Sometimes it's only refreshing. There you go. Okay, so the same logic, feedback. So with this feedback and with the one more activity that we have, try to apply everything that I'm telling you here and that you noticed that you didn't do very good, right? Because of course you realize that sometimes you were not able to do it. So let's listen.
First, what are the other choices?
Okay, good. The options, what are the other choices? Great.
2. What are the benefits?
Great. That's more than enough. Advantages, benefits, yes.
And 3. What is the problem with those options?
Okay. Okay, I don't have any observations related to this one. It's simple and it goes straight to the point. All right.
And
let me change that one again. It was 11 seconds more or less, which is very good.
those options. And in my opinion, the best option is the city auditorium because
Okay, so the city auditorium, good. So you have the best option, great. And in my opinion?
it is more comfortable for the guest because...
Okay, good. So the second one, it's only missing using since, right? Let me check that again at the beginning.
The best option is the city auditorium because it is more comfortable.
And you can replace because with since, and the meaning is going to be the same. All right, so you can say the city auditorium since it's more comfortable, and you give other reasons only using since. Okay, good.
For the guest because...
All right, also other because there, but you can change. As you used, if you use since, then you can use another one, for example, for, right? And you can say for, it is more comfortable, and so on.
It is less expensive, and because it is nearby, and because the main idea is...
Right, and over there also my recommendation is, in order not to repeat right, the word because many times, just try to give me a list, right? Because it's more comfortable, is less expensive, and this and that. All right. Okay, good.
Is that everyone attend the conference.
Okay, great. So you're using...
Teacher, what other word I can use instead of because?
Remember these ones, right? Now I was showing you. These are two words that you can use instead of because. Since and for. All right? They mean the same. Also, you can use as. This one. It's over here. these are the 4 words that you can use, all right? So instead of because, you can use for. And if you say for, it sounds weird, but it's correct. So you can say, I think that the best option is the city auditorium, for it is more comfortable. It gives us that and that and that. Or you can say, as is more comfortable, or since is more comfortable. All right, any of those words is going to mean the same as because. All right, for, as, since. But remember, in this case, you had to use since. Next time, you're going to use for. Okay, so instead of because, you're going to say for. I'm going to highlight that when it's the case. All right, I'm going to highlight for in that case. All right, so let's continue.
As for the other option,
Okay, good. You're using that word to connect those 2 elements. As for the other option,
it is far away and it is more expensive.
okay, good. So you're saying things, and it's valid, and it's very good, because it's far, it's too far, right? And it's more expensive. Those are good reasons why you are not choosing that one, all right? But I think time was lacking. So
2.
okay, that's it, right? So again, in general, you had 7 more seconds. Try to do the following, Majo. You spent time repeating the word because, right? Because of this, and that. Try to find a balance between the best option and the not a good option, all right? So you can only give, for example, two good reasons for the good option, all right? So you can say, I believe that this is the best option since this and that, period. For example, this, period. Okay, and that can be it. Then you can say, as for the other option, it's not a good idea because of this and that, 2 reasons. For example, if you have time, the example, and if you have time, restate some of my words. And that's it. Then the final conclusion, all right? So again, my recommendation, try to balance the content that you have for the 2 options. Try to use the same time for both, more or less. It can be more for the best option and less for the other one, but the difference doesn't have to be too much. And that's it, all right? I don't know if you have any questions related to that, Mac, but let me know.
No, teacher, anything. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. There you go. And we're going to finish with you, Melanie, and then we're going to work with the last activity for today. All right, this one over here. Oh no, this is not the one. Sorry, I have, this is activity 3. Okay, this one over here. Sorry, I made a mistake. There you go.
What do you think are the best option for? What are the
Okay, what do you think are, oh, remember, as I think you're using embedded questions here, Melanie, what do you think the best options are, all right? Or what do you think are the best options? It depends on what you're using. I believe that that's an embedded question in the way you're saying that, all right? So what do you think the best options for that problem are, right? That would be the embedded question.
positive sides of each possible solution, and what are the negative?
Okay, one more time. I want to listen to that one.
What are the positive sides of each possible solution, and what are the negative side for each one?
Okay, if you talk about sides, it's also possible, yes. So good, 10 seconds over there. Just the first one, right? The order for the first one, the first embedded question.
In my opinion, it is better to have a city auditor since you can earn more money because it's going to be cheaper than the other. And also,
okay, in that one, I feel that it's okay, you're going to that answer, but you are stating this one as if we were supposed to have or possess that one, right? Perhaps you have to make notice that your answer is related to only a place to go for a specific event, right? So it's better to go to this place and then you can give the rest of the explanation, right? It feels like a little bit like you're saying something else besides that one.
Earn more money because it's going to be cheaper than the other.
Okay, in that one as well. So it can be, money can be something that you may mention, but here again, we're talking about, right, being less expensive or more expensive, but in terms of earning, it could be related to which is the best option, right, to go now, right, only to go for this specific time.
And also is nearby of the city. In fact, if it's your first event, it is important to.
Okay, you can say nearby the city directly, it's nearby, or directly nearby, right? They're nearby the city, nearby where we live.
Be something in the city and to have more people. As you mentioned, it is a negative side to have other things, but I think we can find a solution for that. As for the other option, it can be a really good place. However, it doesn't have. It's far away, and maybe a lot of people is not going to be there.
Okay, good. Again, I noticed the transition. I noticed those elements. Again, balance, but it's not bad so far.
So it's going to have a negative side. In conclusion, I can say that the first option is best.
Okay, good. Again, as I said, right, it's not bad in that sense, but at the beginning I had like a different feeling, like something else was like the main idea that is not, all right, different from what we were saying, or perhaps you can make me understand that a little bit different, because I was understanding as possession or as having something in terms of you should do that or buy that, and not feeling like the idea of the context, right, the ambience and those elements. You focus there on money in terms of more expensive or less expensive, but again, the feeling was a little bit different. Then the other one, right, it had less time, and then the conclusion, right, for those 5 seconds, I think was good. But again, a little bit more balance between those two ideas. And for the first one, let's try to keep the main idea, because it felt again that it was going to a different place. Just that one here for you, Melanie. I don't know if you have any questions or observations. Let me know, please.
No, please, thanks. All good.
Okay, thank you. Now let's finish. All right, we have these 10 minutes and it's going to be more than enough. I'm going to try to check at least one of your or a couple of your recordings, but to do so, let's finish this up. Remember, the last one that we are going to work on is the last prompt, right? Sample B. So you can go there again. ECCE speaking test, B2, and ECCE sample prompt B. Let's read this quickly. This is going to be, again, the same structure to what we were having before. Majo, this time this is going to be for you, please, but we are only going to read 2 elements, the situation and the questions, please, Majo.
Okay, situation. I'm the mayor of your town and I have a problem. Find out what my problem is and offer me some good advice. First, you should look at the pictures below and ask, what is the problem? What are options? What are disadvantages of each option? Then, when you have all the information you need, explain which option you think is best and why. Be ready to explain why you didn't choose the other option. Remember to use information you learned from asking questions to explain your final choice. And finally, after you have shared your decision, you will be asked more questions about the topic.
Okay, thank you very much, Majo. And these are the pictures, right? So let's begin. Again, you have this for you. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. Remember, first, restate these questions, right? What is the problem? Restate that question in different order, different structure. What are the options? Restate and reformulate that question. What are the disadvantages of each option? Restate that one, right? The first 10 seconds, and then 25 the first part, 20 the second part, and 5 the last part. That's it. Let me stop sharing my screen. And again, please, I'm going to ask you to pay attention. I'm going to read the problem, the options, and the disadvantages, right? And here I go. Good. So let's listen. What is the problem? Our town's 100th anniversary is this year, and we want to do something special to celebrate. We have two possible options, and we can't decide which to choose. Option 1, right? What are the options? Option 1, fountain. We could buy a fountain in the town center to remember the anniversary. Option 2, fireworks. We could plan a weekend festival with music and fireworks to celebrate the event. The disadvantages. Option 1, it will have a time, all right, it will take time to plan and build the fountain, and it will not be finished until next year. Option 2, after the festival is over there will be no permanent reminder of the event. And that's it, all right? That is it. So please, with that information, again, I'm sharing my screen one more time. Give me 1 second. So you know what you're going to do now, right? You need to, let me do this. There you go. And that's the picture and the timer. Please, now you have to use the words that are not highlighted, okay? That are not highlighted. So you have to use personally, for, to give reason, for instance, examples, according to you restating. It's not obligatory to have the example, right? I'm telling you that. Then you have to use contrary to that. The other option is not as good because of this and that, okay? Those are the two. You have to use the two because they are part of the same expression, okay? Contrary to that, the other option is that. For instance as well, and according to you, the same. And finally, you're going to use one of those two options. For the conclusion, you have two options. Because of all those reasons, and, or, therefore, or thus, okay? 3 actually. That's it. If you have any questions, please, you can let me know now. If not, remember to use this structure. Once again, it's going to be like that. In that way, I think you read everything and the timer. So again, please, you have 1 minute, all right? 1 minute, and you may start now, please. All right, so that's it. But again, in these minutes that we have, I want to spend to at least, all right, check one or a couple of your recordings. So please upload them and let me know if you want me to listen to your recording now. All right, if you did it, please, you can raise your hand. If not, I'm going to go there to explore a little bit and I'm going to check one of your recordings. All right, let me see how it goes. Okay. All right, you have yours, Melanie. Let me find that over here then. Thank you very much. So it's over here, right? It's here. There you go. And it's activity 4. Okay, so let's check yours. I give you my feedback and that's going to be it. Again, if you tell me, right, Melanie, you are going to have your presentation tomorrow. You already asked for permission to management. If that's the case, tomorrow we're going to have that presentation with you. All right, try to confirm that one, please, Melanie, if it was possible to do it.
Yes, I sent my permission on Monday. However, they didn't give me any response. I already talked with Ruth, and she mentioned that she's going to ask for administration to see what is the answer. But that happened in the afternoon, and since then, I don't have any answer.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. I'm going to ask that again. I imagine that there's not going to be a problem because this was all right with the days in advance. So if that's the case, which I imagine it's going to be, then tomorrow we're going to have that presentation with you, all right? But take that into account, and on Tuesday, it's going to be the final session or the conclusion of the class. So let's listen to this.
What the difficult situation is.
Okay, good. Now, but in that one, again, very shortly, if you say, what do you think, right, the options are? That is an embedded question because you have another question before that one, right? What do you think? As in your previous question. But as this one is the only question, right? You don't have another question before this one. Let me listen to this.
What the difficult situation is.
Right?
Which are.
In that case, the order should be only question order, right? So again, the difference is very shortly. What do you think, right? The other choices or options are, or what the situation is? Or could you tell me, right, what the situation is? But it's different if you ask, what is the situation? What is happening, right? Only that one.
Some ideas do you have? Situation is. Which are some ideas do you have?
Okay, so what are some ideas that, right, that you have? All right, that you have.
What are some problems that you have of each idea? Personally, I prefer the font in the tone of the city.
Okay, good. In that one, again, that can be the short, but it's better if you say the complete idea, right? The fountain, right? The fountain, because the font may mean something different, right? The fountain.
Since it's going to be something permanent and.
Okay, good. So it's good, but remember, I'm going to make this comparison shortly over here. Remember that now we had to use this one, right? For. But we have since is not incorrect, all right? Let's see if you were able to use for.
According to you, is going to be something better to have a reminder all the time. That's
okay, good. And you are restating words with according to you, which was expected. Okay, very good.
Doesn't matter the time that is going to be building. The other option.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the time it's going to get to be built, right? It can be better if you use the passive idea over there. Or you can say, it doesn't matter the time that you are going to spend building that fountain, all right? Something like that. If it's active, it has to be a little bit more precise. If it's passive, let's change a little bit the conjugation.
To have fireworks is also something good. Since you are going to have
good. I think we're starting a little bit before with this one. I feel that one. That's good.
Some music and people there. According to you, is not really permanent. It's not going to be permanent. So I don't believe this can be a better option. Maybe you can have some pictures.
Okay, good. We're good so far. Again, the only thing is that I think we didn't use for. At least perhaps you did use it. I didn't realize that one. But the rest of the information, I think it's better balanced.
but it's not the best. Because of all these reasons, I believe the fontaine is the best solution for this problem.
Okay, okay, and that's it. And well, that's it. That's my only observation over there. Melanie, remember, embedded questions. The previous one was different because at the beginning you asked, what do you think? But in this one, you only have that question. So you don't need the sentence order. You only need the question order. All right, just that one. And the usage of that word for, but besides that and the word fountain, right? I think everything else was way better. I don't know if you have any questions or observations related to this. Let me know, please.
No, Lisa, I think I get confused and I see since I use it.
Okay,
Sorry.
don't worry. All right, it was the only word that was like not the ones that I was telling you, but everything else was very good, Melanie. Thank you very much. And again, Majo, please, Carolina, I think we're going to have some extra time. So I'm going to check yours on Friday, all right, before or after your presentation. And I'm also going to work with your words. Remember, some of you need to work with those words. If we don't get to work with all of them entirely, we are going to, well, I'm going to give you access to that document and later on you can work on it for yourselves and then you can contact me, all right? Even if the course is over, if you didn't finish working with those words, with those corrections, you can contact me if you want and you can show me how you are working with those, okay? That's it. Let's finish out by filling out the survey as always. And again, I thank you for being here. I'll be waiting for you tomorrow for the session or the presentation. Have a good night. All right. Thank you once again. Bye-bye, girls. Take care.
Bye, teacher. See you on Friday.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye, see you.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.